we doing, guys? This is just a quick video. Where have you heard that before? It's a VR response, and I've also got a question for the community. The VR response is to xRetroHolicx. Now he was asking the question about do you watch people's or YouTubers' old videos and do you comment on them? I absolutely do watch old videos. I mean, I'm fairly new to YouTube, unlike most of you old buggers. I've only been doing this, I don't know, 6-7 months, something like that. But yeah, obviously when you first subscribe to somebody, or when you first come across a YouTuber, it's because you've spotted a link to one of his latest videos. So obviously when you first start watching them, it's going to be the new videos that you're going to watch. You're going to watch his most current one, and then you'll obviously pick up on anything else, you know, any new ones that he's actually doing. I'm saying he, it could be he or she. But yeah, I mean, the guys that I've been subscribed to for a long time, I mean, Steve Benway, he was one of the first ones. He was the first person that kind of came to know when I started. That's how I got into the whole sort of YouTube thing. I mean, Steve's got an archive of thousands of videos. Now the fantastic thing about retro gaming is old anyway. Everything that we talk about could have been spoken about 5-6 years ago. So a video that was made 3-4 years ago is completely relevant regardless of when you watch it. I suppose the only thing would be if you're talking about current sort of gaming things, like, you know, Nintendo going down the tubes, Nintendo switching off servers. That's obviously current, and then, you know, 3-4 years down the line it's going to kind of be a bit of a sort of irrelevant question. But yeah, I absolutely do. I dig into the archives. The only thing I don't like about, well, it's not the only thing I don't like about YouTube, I find trying to navigate through YouTube looking for specific videos or whatever, it's quite difficult. I mean, what I was wanting to do when I first started watching Steve Benway was go right back to the very start and watch some of his really early videos. I don't know if that's actually possible to do it. If there is, I don't know how to do it. I mean, what I've been doing is going into playlist, and then just scrolling right down to the very bottom of the screen and kind of watching it. But I don't think it actually shows you. Does it show you a date when it was published? It maybe does. I've just maybe been a bit thick and not actually noticed it. But yeah, I do watch old videos because, like I says, the subject matter in question, it's old. It's old anyway. We're talking about systems from 20, 30, in some cases 30 years ago. So talking about a Spectrum or a Vectrex now, or watching somebody talking about it 3 years ago, is still completely relevant. And it's quite interesting to see how people have kind of come on. I mean, even watching I'm far from professional. I still stutter and what have you in front of the camera. But even looking at some of my early videos, you can definitely see how you do kind of grow in confidence a wee bit. You know, it does get a wee bit easier talking into a camera. So yeah, that's my video response to xRetroHolicx. And the question I was going to ask, I was having my lunch there, and I was looking at the iPad, and it got me thinking, do any of you guys, or what do you guys think of games on tablets? You know, whether it's iPad, Android, whatever it is, gaming on tablets, smartphones, is it a viable platform? And what do you think of it? Do you play games on tablets? What do you make of tablets for playing games? That sounds like a double question, but it is anyway. So what do you make of them? My personal opinion, when I first got my iPhone, which was many years ago, it was a 3G one I think I got, and I eventually got an iPad, I went absolutely daft loading it up. I mean, I jailbroke both of them because I could load emulators onto it. I mean, even now, I think we've got 2 iPads in the house. Both are jailbroken. Both have got MAME. Both have got, what have you got? You've got the SNES, NES, Spectrum, all these. You know, they're ladled to the gunnels with emulators. So yeah, this was like it was completely new technology for me. Having this, a Commodore 64 or whatever, on something this size you could just sit in your lap and play games on was brilliant, absolutely fantastic. Now I really don't. I mean, I've actually taken emulators off one of them, and I was going to take the emulators off my second iPad, and I just left it on purely and simply because you know, if I take them off, then it's probably a bit of a hassle to kind of put them back on again. But I just find they look amazing. I mean, you've got these, you know, the iPad, whatever it is, the tablet screens look beautiful, especially in all the modern kind of tablets that you get. They all look really, really nice, bright colours, sharp. You know, the graphics couldn't be sharper. But the biggest problem with any of these things is the controls. You know, in theory, a touch screen is almost like the best control thing ever, because for you to move right in a joystick, you have to physically move your hand to the right. There's going to be that split second between you moving your hand to the right and the little button makes the connection, whatever you call it. So yeah, there's a slight kind of timing issue there. In theory, with a touch screen, it should be brilliant, because as soon as you move your finger right, it's instantly recognising that, you know, it'll pick up the moving right motion, the same with buttons, etc. So in theory, it should be a fantastic control option, but in practice, it's just really, really poor. It's I mean, it's completely unplayable. I've tried some of these what do you call it, elite systems they brought out, a Spectrum emulator, and it's, again, the emulation, you can't fault the emulation, it's spot on, but the controls are just awful. I mean, they've tried to adapt, come up with their own sort of take on the controls, trying to emulate joysticks, but using touchscreen for digital controls for things like, you know, computers, it just doesn't work at all. I mean, in the very, very odd occasion, I'll tell you, the only games that I find that do work fairly well, and in fact it's actually quite clever, is any version of MAME. Well, in fact there's only really two versions of MAME I think you can get for the tablets. They have, what do you call them, tilt mechanism for controlling it. So it basically means you can play Outrun, use one finger for the accelerator, and then you tilt to actually steer, and it works fairly well. I mean, it's quite novel. So things like Outrun, Chase HQ, they play fairly well in it. Don't even attempt to play Galaxian or something using a tilt mechanism. That would just be stupid. So yeah, the emulators now, I don't use them. I mean, I keep them on. I mean, I've actually got, where the hell is it? Hang on a second. I bought myself one of these a while back. It's called the 8-bitty, and it's basically, in fact, I've actually got the thing down there. I've got the iCade, which was, I'll go and get it. Hang on a second, guys. I should actually be more prepared. Come here, you bugger. Yeah, somebody came up with, you've probably seen this before, the iCade. It's a really, really nice bit of kind of retro style gaming thing. You basically build it yourself. But yeah, what this actually does, I mean, I'm sure I'm probably talking to the converted here. You basically place your iPad in here, and you've got some really, really nice controls. A kind of arcadey quality joystick, very clicky, probably too clicky actually. And you've got 8 buttons here as well. That connects to your tablet through, what do you call it? Through Bluetooth, and it actually works really, really well. When I first got it, I played that non-stop, but sometimes they're a bit of palaver to kind of get going. But yeah, if you've got one of these, if you do want to play, you know, MAME on a tablet, you need some sort of Bluetooth controller. I mean, I'll be honest with you guys, that there, I mean, original iPads, even, doesn't have to be an iPad, you know, a tablet, you can pick up fairly cheap now. I mean, I've always thought about picking up a second-hand iPad 1 or iPad 2, maybe for under £100, putting MAME in it, and actually putting it inside that thing so it specifically becomes a MAME cab, albeit a very, very small MAME cab. But having the controls, it does play really, really nice. But because I've got my proper MAME cab, and I've got all these systems for real now, I really don't have much time for playing emulators on iPads. But if space is an issue, if you don't have either the money, well, if you can afford an iPad, you can afford a Spectrum or whatever. But if space is an issue, if you live in a 1-bedroom flat and you don't have any room for real computers or even a laptop, whatever, then you know, an iPad, a tablet is the way to go. You can run emulators on it. You can get yourself, I say, an iCade or one of these. That's actually made by iCade as well. It's like the NES controller, and it actually plays really nice. But I find it's a bit, I wouldn't say it's hit. Once you get the thing paired, it's all right. But sometimes you've got to fanny about with it, and you know, to try and get the iPad paired up with it. So it's a bit of palaver, and I can't be arsed with it. But yeah, without these proper controls, it's a no-no for me. It's a novel thing being able to load up a game and look at it, but you try playing Galaxian or Space Invaders or Pac-Man, try and play any arcade game using touch controls, and it's a complete waste of time. So yeah, that was the emulator thing. I mean, the question wasn't really just about emulators. What do you make of games on tablets? Is it a viable option? I mean, again, when I got my iPad, you know, the first thing I did, I think I bought a 32 gig one because I wanted the space. The first thing I did was absolutely just ladle it up with games. You know, I had thousands and thousands of games. Then over a period of time, I realised I wasn't playing them, so I took more and more off, to the point I had maybe just half a dozen games in it. I'll be honest, I don't even remember, I couldn't even tell you the last time I played a game on a tablet or a touch screen. I mean, I've got this, it's a Nexus 4, lovely computer, lovely phone. I mean, games wise, what have I got in it? There's a handful, and that is it. If I can find it in games. I've got MAME, I've got Hex Defense, which is a kind of tower shooter thing. Angry Birds, never play it. Angry Birds Star Wars, never play it. Grid Runner by Jeff Minter, which is good, and Flappy Bird, don't ask. So there you go, I've got 6 kind of gaming apps, and I couldn't tell you the last time I played any of them. I don't know, to me it's not a platform that I enjoy. Again, if space is an issue, then by all means. I mean, there are some, like the graphics in some of these games, I'm trying to think, what was the name of the game that came out on the iPad? It was a kind of third person, it looked like Tomb Raider, but it was like set in, you were a kind of Viking, it looked a bit like, what the hell do you call it? Skyrim type thing, can't remember what it was called. I mean, the graphics in these things are unbelievable, absolutely stunning graphics, but again, it's this same shitty touch screen controls, which to me just doesn't work. But the only game I would say that works on tablets, in my experience, are the games like, I suppose, Angry Birds. You know, it's all about the using your finger type thing. You couldn't really play that in a digital. I mean, I know people have converted Angry Birds to the 8-bit machines, but again, it needs the sort of like the capacitive touch screen with your finger to kind of control it. What the hell? There's a game where you've got to land an aeroplane, and you basically draw with your finger the flight path for different planes to land. I can't even remember what the hell it's called. That works. Things like Plant v Zombies, where you're just sort of pointing at things, you're directing, you know, that needs to go from there to there or there to there. So tower games, tower saving games, whatever the hell they're called, they work in it quite well. I suppose kind of graphic-y type, is it the Waking Dead games, they'll work okay. But as far as real-time arcade games that require a quick response, I would say it's a no-no. You know, but I said I've not played games in it for a long time, but like I said, when I first got my iPad, I had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of games, and then over a period of time I realised I simply wasn't playing them. And now, as I say, I've got about half a dozen games on my Nexus 4, and I just simply don't play them. So yeah, that's my thoughts on gaming on tablets, guys. Let me know what you think. Stick your comments down below. I would appreciate that. If you want to make a VR response, even better. And as usual, guys, thanks for watching.